Hey, what's going on, hustlers? Loud Machine here, and in this video, I want to talk about something that's so important for you if you want success on Amazon, specifically using the arbitrage business model. This is going to be super important because a lot of times when it comes to selling on Amazon, we're always thinking, what product should I be selling? What category should I be in? How do I source? How do I get ungated? And all of that is important, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't get your concepts right. So I want to talk about a concept that is super important. It's going to make sure that you have success. If you follow my concepts, if you implement the things that I implement, you're going to end up with the same types of results. And on that note, you might notice behind me, I got one of my toys. I like toys just like anybody else. And I've been talking on Amazon about how to make money since 2017. Well, what do you do with the money, right? You ever wonder what these content creators are doing with the money? Well, you do what you want. Money gives choices. But if you're like me, you might like exotic cars. So that's what you're looking at right there. That is my 2007 Porsche Boxster. I'm gonna uncover it here. So you can take a quick look at it. Actually, you know what? We can do that now. So that's what it looks like. We'll take a closer look at it. Actually, if you hang around, I'm going to see if I can get it to start for you. I haven't had it out in a long time. And then we'll talk a little bit about it if you're interested in cars. But let's get into what's so important in this video. So if you're going to be successful in arbitrage, probably one of the biggest things that you're going to have to do, the biggest concepts that you're going to have to understand and implement is you have got to feed the beast, guys. That means you've got to constantly be adding new products. It never ends. So if you're thinking that I'm going to do arbitrage and I'm going to finally get to where I've got all replenishables and all I got to do is process the replens, get them sent in, done, forget it. It's not going to happen. And there are several reasons why, but some of the main ones are, number one, products come and go. So whatever you're selling right now could get discontinued. Guys, it does happen. Number two, you might get kicked off the product, you might get kicked off the brand, you might get kicked out of the category. Things like that happen, okay? You could be doing just fine, and then all of a sudden you get a tap on the shoulder and it's the manufacturer saying, hey, you're not authorized to sell this. You could be selling and then all of a sudden Amazon, for whatever reason, just deactivates the listing, kicking everybody off. They may strand your inventory. You may look and there's 15 other people still selling the product, but for whatever reason they're saying you can't. These types of things happen. Here's a big thing that happens. If you're having success on Amazon, and I don't care what you're selling, you are being watched. You are being watched by other sellers. They're saying, hey, I'm going to reverse search your store, see what you got, and I'm going to cherry pick the best. And then when I'm done cherry picking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that product that you were selling. Now I'm going to jump on the listing and I'm going to lower the price. And I'm going to keep lowering it until none of us make money, because I got my own agenda. You'll never know what it is. And if you're going to fight with other sellers, that's not where it's at. You're just not going to have. You don't have time for that. You've got to move on. So, do not take this lightly, guys. It's very simple. Feed the beast. That's all you got to do. So we're going to talk about how you get that done. Okay, guys, so this is going to be, let's talk about how you continue to feed the beast. Now that you understand the concept that you must feed the beast, how do you do it? Well, number one, you've got to constantly be looking for products. If you're doing arbitrage, every store that you go to is a potential that for you to find a new product. If there's a brand that you're selling, I sell snack foods. If there's a brand, I'm always looking, what have they come out with? You know, anytime you're browsing shelves, there's a chance that there's a barcode for you to scan. You've got to be doing that. Number two, you've got to be using software that can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. In the past, I've done a ton of videos and live streams about the software Tactical Arbitrage. I still use it every week. We're going to come out with a new series on that because the software has changed enough to where it would be beneficial to come out with a new video. But even if you want to watch the old ones, it's basically the same. The fact is this: you've got to leverage the power of software that can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. And then you've got to go back to what I talked about. You've got to be reverse searching other people's stores. And you know, those are some great ways to keep those products, you know, flowing in. There's a cycle with products. Whatever you're selling today, you may not be able to sell tomorrow. You have to know that, so that right now, while you're having success now, you're already looking towards the future. That's how you keep momentum. Momentum is so important. So let's get into a little bit about the Porsche Boxster, particularly the year that I got, which is a 2007. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to start. Oh, I don't know if it is or not. One thing about these cars, you can't, there's no dipstick, so you can't check the oil except by using the display. Let's see if we can get her to start up. All right, hustler. So let's get into some of the features and specifications of the Porsche, the 07 Porsche Boxster. Now, what you're looking at right now is a 1996 Porsche Boxster. That's the year that they came out. That is when I first fell in love with the car. It was part of my screensaver. It was what I thought about all the time. Just loved it. But there's some things I like a little different about mine. So, of course, mine is, I don't know, about 10 years later. Mine came out somewhere around there. Now, you see on this model, you've got these turn signals right in the headlight assembly there. I don't really care for that. And also, the first models that came out had a plastic window. I do not like those. So just some of the features about it is it comes with a standard 2.7 liter engine. Now, when we say standard, of course, we're talking about the transmission, which is a stick manual. But it's got a 2.7 liter, six cylinder flat engine. And we'll get into what a flat engine is for those of you who might not know. 245 horsepower and 201 pound-feet of torque. Now, they did have a Boxster S. They do have that. And that year, the 07, that came with a 3.4 liter engine with 295 horsepower and 251 pound-feet of torque. We'll talk about the speed because there's a short story I got to tell you about that. You want to be cautious. And again, like we said, the transmission is a standard. It comes with a 5-speed manual. Now, the Boxster S came with a 6-speed manual and a 5-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission with the paddle shifters I didn't care for that. The drivetrain, it's a rear wheel drive. As far as economy, it's an estimated 20 miles per gallon in the city and 29 miles per gallon on the highway. I think that's debatable. It has a power convertible top, leather seats, front air conditioning, and front and rear fog lights. Cargo space. I don't know if you guys care about the wheelbase. Real quick, it has a wheelbase of 95.1 inches, a length of 171.6 inches, a width of 70.9 inches, and a height of 50.9 inches. It has a maximum cargo space of 9.9 cubic feet. We'll talk about that as well. Just a beautiful car, guys. So, all right, hustlers. So when we talked about flat engines, here's a diagram to give you a kind of an idea of what we mean when we say a flat engine. You'll notice the pistons are kind of going out to the sides. And let's see if we can take a look. This is an actual Porsche flat six. A little different than what we typically look at, right? And you know, some of the advantages of a flat engine is they've got a lower center of mass, better primary balance than other engine types. And so you end up with less vibration. They're kind of compact for their power output. Makes it ideal for vehicles with it's ideal for vehicles with limited engine space. They tend to have better fuel economy. It can improve on the vehicle's aerodynamics because of that lower center of gravity. But some of the disadvantages are, you see how wide that engine is. It's wider compared to inline or V engines. Repairs and maintenance can be an issue since the heads are basically on the sides of the car. You got to have dual head gaskets. So yeah, those are some of the disadvantages. And let's take a look at exactly what we're talking about here. So what you'll notice is the Porsche Boxster has what's considered a mid-mounted engine. Now, of course, you guys know typically engines are mounted up here in the front, or in a lot of sports cars, they're in the rear. So a rear-mounted engine would be more back here. This is considered a mid-mounted engine. And so, you know, it's great because of the engine placement. Guys, this thing just hugs the road. Maybe I'll do a video where I'm just carving through the curves, man. I live in a mountainous region with a lot of beautiful back roads, and maybe, you know, maybe we'll take it out, let you see what it does. It's not very fast. You could tell when I gave you the horsepower. That's not a lot, but it's great for the track. And if you notice, it's track ready. Even though it's a convertible, it's got the roll bars in there. Another thing to note, because of that mid-mounted engine, you get the trunk up front, which all of your rear-mounted engines will give you that trunk up front. A lot of times they refer to that as the bonnet. But because this is a mid-mounted engine, you also get a trunk in the rear. So this has two trunks, guys. I'll show that one of these days. But that's pretty cool. Just remember, like I said, you got to be careful in these cars because this thing, it sounds like, the engine, once you really open it up, it's like a symphony, and you can get yourself in trouble. I did end up with a charge, not a ticket, a charge in this car. The charge was racing on public highways. You really don't want that, guys. Automatic arrest, automatic forfeiture of license is just, you want to kind of be careful with that. But I'll tell you, I actually, another note before we move on to the next point I wanted to make. With that mid-mounted engine, you can't get at the engine. You just can't. It goes in the shop. You can't pop the hood, look at things, look at the belts, pull the dipstick. That doesn't happen. If you want to check the coolant level, if you want to check the oil level, you have to do that with the gauge and use the digital display for that. So that's something to consider. The tires, just another note, you got 50s on the back, 60s on the front, so there is no rotating the tires. And of course, they're expensive. Tires are expensive, especially, you know,
high performance or racing tires. It does run premium fuel, so yeah, guys, this thing ain't the cheapest thing to keep on the road. Keep that in mind. A lot of these exotic cars, you'll be surprised when you get into the market. The price of getting one isn't so bad. The cost of ownership, the cost of keeping it on the road is what can get to you if you're not careful. Like I was saying, I quickly outgrew this thing. Those Subarus were eating my lunch, and I can tell you what I'm probably gonna end up with, because I am a Porsche man. I don't need anything crazy like a Hellcat or a Viper or something crazy like that, but I do need more than what I got in terms of power. So the next one I'm probably gonna get, like, I'm not gonna buy a new car. I just don't do that. All that depreciation, I'm not gonna take. So I usually go for a 5-year-old car. So if I were to buy another Porsche now, it'd probably be a 2019, and it's probably going to be a 911 Targa turbo. Just an absolute gorgeous car, gorgeous piece of machinery. Yeah, that I could see myself in that for sure. I'll keep you guys posted, but yeah, that's a little bit about the specs and stuff like that for the 07 Porsche Boxster.
All right, hustlers, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and share, and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss any of the videos as soon as they come out. Talk to you guys later.